So interphase. I want you to basically go reference back that we're going to cover 3 parts of the cell cycle. What are they? Interphase, mitosis or mitotic phase. That's the cell cycle, okay? We're going to do the first part of the cell cycle, which is interphase. And that part has 3 parts. And they did a very good job of explaining it, so I'm just going to re-reference it. G1 is growth. It's where the organelles reproduce and the cell doubles in size. So you've got replicating of a nucleus, replicating of DNA, or all of these things are going to happen throughout interphase, but it's because the cell's growing that it needs, because they're replicating and need space, so the cell starts to grow. You have to know these parts here. Centriole, nucleus, chromatin. What I can tell you is, wherever you see this word chromo, I'm not going to try to confuse you. Chromatin, chromosomes, chromatids, sister chromosomes or sister chromatids, they're all the genetic material inside the cell's nucleus. Okay, that's what you have to know. You're not going to have to differentiate one from the other. Then you've got the second part of interphase, which is the S phase. And synthesis takes place of what? DNA and what's this? Whoops, chromosomes. So you've got new chromosomes and new DNA ready to be part of the new cell. And then you've got G2, which is secondary what? Growth. And I want you to know that the cell actually begins throughout almost every part of interphase to check for any errors. But that is a critical checkpoint during G2, because if there's any errors in the making of DNA, then your cell has incorrect information, which basically leads to cancer. So that's the final checkpoint, in a sense, is during G2. And to go back and underline, because I didn't do that, G is for growth, yes? S is for synthesis. And what does synthesis mean? Come together, what else? Making of, okay? You gotta know that. Yes?
This is in human cells, right?
We move on to the second phase in what? In the cell cycle, which is mitosis, which has how many parts?
6, 7,
8,
9,
4.
4.
8.
The 4 parts can be broken down into one word, PMAT. I know that's not a word, but the 4 parts are prophase, what else? Metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Correct. Prophase is probably one of the more complex of all the parts of the cell cycle because a lot is going on. You have 2 ways to approach this. Look at the pictures and learn them, and the pictures describe what's happening, or learn what's happening and be able to interpret it in an image. Here's interphase, okay? Look at the difference between this and tell me things that are going on in prophase. Look at this picture and look at this and tell me what's going on. Yes?
The chromosomes form.
The chromosomes actually become visible, correct? Condense, form, all of those things are because before you had chromatin, and all of a sudden you have these purely defined visible chromosomes. What else? Look at this picture right here. I can make it bigger. And look at the new picture. What's happening? Yes?
The middles are different.
What's in the middle?
In the middle is chromosomes.
Yeah, we said chromosomes become visible. Okay, so we got that. What else? Yeah.
The cell membrane around the nucleus is breaking.
What do we have around the nucleus?
Nuclear.
The nuclear membrane. The actual entire nucleus breaks apart. The membrane, the nucleolus, the nuclear, yep. Everything breaks apart. So it doesn't just happen right away, but here you have a perfect membrane. You can actually, in a lot of phases of interphase, if you look right in the center, you'll see the nucleolus. You'll see it under the microscope, That disappears. The nuclear envelope disappears and the chromosomes condense. What else happens?
Quick question.
Yep.
When you say disappear,
Which are right here, move apart to opposite ends. And just to give you an idea, this word, centrioles, has a T and an R in it. And this structure, T and L. Take away the R. This structure usually looks like an L or a T. So try to remember that because there's several C words. So centrioles looks like an L-shaped.
bless you.
What else happens?
Spindle fibers 34.
Awesome. Spindle forms. And what form the spindle?
Microtubules.
Good job, girl. You're on a roll.
I know this lesson.
All of these labels that I just released, you have to know. You have to know that the nucleus is here and that it breaks apart during prophase. That the spindle comes out of the centriole during prophase. That the centrioles that were once together in interphase move apart. And that the chromatin becomes chromosomes that become visible. All that is part of prophase. So I mentioned centrioles, L and T, right? The reason why is you've got this other structure here that's in the middle of every chromosome called a centromere. Think of M for middle, yes? That way you could differentiate. And on that note,